You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show podcast on KPEL965.com.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Studios.
Abortion should be left to the states. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what former President Trump wants, saying there should not be a federal standard.
Many states will be different. Many will have a different number of weeks, or some will have more conservative than others, and that's what they will be. At the end of the day, this is all about the will of the people.
He did not lay out a timeline for when he believes abortion should be banned, but did say there should be exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. In a video posted on his Truth Social platform, the presumptive GOP presidential nominee reaffirmed his support for in vitro fertilization.
We want to make it easier for mothers and families to have babies, not harder.
Polling has consistently shown that most Americans believe abortion should be legal through the initial stages of pregnancy.
As Fox is telling you, Jay Powers, Democrats blame the former president for 3 Supreme Court appointees that helped undo a woman's right to abortion, letting states ban it. Today, President Biden will go to Wisconsin, touting a new plan to wipe out more student loan debt to millions more Americans. He may also tout this.
The Commerce Department is providing as much as $6 billion to a Taiwanese semiconductor giant to expand operations in Arizona, another step in boosting advanced microchip production in the U.S. President Biden says the agreement with Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing company will create more than 25,000 construction and manufacturing jobs.
Fox's Jared Halpern. This afternoon, just about all eyes will be on the sky for a solar eclipse.
Super excited and a tiny bit nervous because it's my first time seeing it.
She'll wear those special protective glasses in Arkansas, one of the areas where the moon will fully eclipse the sun.
I already drove about 10.5 hours just to get here, and I'm willing to drive another 9.5 hours just to see a more certain, clear version.
He's in Ohio. There's a path of total eclipse from Texas to Maine. It'll be at least partial throughout the continental U.S. If you miss it, you'll have to wait 20 years for another one. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than what we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back. But what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with a proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. I trust Birch Gold. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantaged status. So text PROTECT to 989898. That's PROTECT to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch.
It's time to win cash. Get your KPEL News apps ready because here's your chance to win up to $30,000. Just enter the following code into your KPEL News app where it says win cash, and make sure you listen for more codes throughout the day because the more codes you enter, the better your chances. Here is your next code.
And your 9 o'clock code is 435. That code 435. Open up your app and hit the win cash button now.
Bikers Against Child Abuse, BACA, exists with the intent to create a safer environment for abused children. We exist as a body of bikers to empower children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. We stand ready to lend support to our wounded friends by involving them with an established, united organization. We work in conjunction with local and state officials who are already in place to protect children. We desire to send a clear message to all involved with the abused child that this child is part of our organization and that we are prepared to lend our physical and emotional support to them by affiliation and our physical presence. We stand at the ready to shield these children from further abuse. We do not condone the use of violence or physical force in any manner. However, if circumstances arise such that we are the only obstacle preventing a child from further abuse, we stand ready to be that obstacle. If you'd like to know more about BACA, please visit our website at bacaworld.org or call 1-866-71-ABUSE.
What's dangerous and stupid and can cost you $25,000? Excavating without calling Louisiana One Call. So dial 811 before you dig. It's the law.
Bikers Against Child Abuse empowers children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. For more information, visit BACAworld.org. Our helpline is 866-885-9474. BACA, breaking the chains of abuse.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% Lists Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hi, y'all. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show. What a great day to be with you. It is Monday, best day of the work week. And everybody, people pumped up about the eclipse. I guess I'm not into all that stuff, but there are a lot of people excited about it. And you can go check out my Facebook, Jude, and then put me, the moon, in front of the sun. Our Facebook has it, moongriffon.com. It's all over all the websites down here. So anyway, they're having fun with me. But that's okay. I'm a guy that likes to have fun every single day. It is great to be here with you. 844-766-6607. Matthew James, Tax and Wealth Management. I got to tell y'all a funny. They had the Hall of Fame. Some people call it the Hall of Shame inductee. And by the way, Jim Minkster made it. I did send Jim a text and congratulated Jim. Jim's been around a long time. I think he started in 98. And they put him in the Hall of Fame. So, and I'll congratulate Jim. Jim actually owns Louisiana Network, and that's the network that we've been on since we syndicated the program pretty much. So I've been knowing Jim for a long, long time. Congratulations to all of them that made the Hall of Shame. The one I got to laugh a little bit because I'm getting several reports. Plenty of reports, and they were just saying, "Boy, you would have had to go to the bathroom if you'd been listening to all the crap that came out of the mouths of Jay Dardenne was the master of ceremony, and Bell Edwards got to get up there and brag, and they said how great I am. I mean, that's all he did was toot how great he was. Dardenne told him it's the best governor we ever had. Of course, Jay Dardenne's retirement went from about up to about $14,000, $16,000, $18,000 a month for the rest of his life because he knife Vitter in the back. So, of course, he's going to praise the guy that helped to get his retirement way up there, folks. Go find out what Jay retired at. And all they had to do was knife Vitter and go in with the Edwards administration bragging about how good. I'm just sitting here falling out. He even Jay Dardenne even pointed out the leftist, Jay Dardenne, that's him, the one you know, the leftist, Jay Dardenne, pointed out Tyler Bridges, the twit in the audience, how great he covers everything, how fair he was, because he bombs Republicans and Jay ain't one except registered only, and bragging about the twit, how the twit is fair. He's a writer for the Devil's Advocate. I'm sitting here going, if I'm getting calls and text messages, I'm just falling out laughing. As one lady told me, I'm glad you weren't there. You would have had to go to you'd have went to the commode and thrown up 5 times. I just think it's kind of funny. Jay's in there, master of ceremony, just bragging about old Bill boy. And you know what he keeps using, which is hilarious? And I invite him to come on this program. I invited him for 8 years when they came up and made up out of thin air that we had a $2 billion budget deficit. That was a lie then. It's a lie now. They actually talked about the $2 billion. I inherited a $2 billion budget deficit. As you know, folks, he didn't inherit anything. He voted for the budget deficit, but it was never $2 billion. If you go back and look, I'll just give you a little example. You go back and look when Bell Edwards was running for office against Vitter, and even before Vitter got out, Darden and the dipstick Scott Angel was in. The backstabbing Darden and the dipstick win. All they talked about was, man, we could have an $850 million budget deficit. And about time Edwards got in office, it was $1.2 billion, which was probably pretty close. Edwards gets in office, and once he got his grubby hands on the budget, it was $2 billion. I've been hearing a $2 billion lie. I've invited the governor, Darden. I told him I'd go to the mansion and do the program. They could sit here and explain to me all this. They wouldn't do it. I invited anybody that wants to come on. A little bit over a year ago, we had Zero Z Zarang. I think it was the head of appropriations. And, of course, I could never get somebody like Stuart Little, very little Bishop, to come on this program because I guess he thinks, man, I'm going to lie and I'm going to get busted. But Z Zarang promised me he was coming back. That was over a year ago. I was in the guarantee broadcasting when he promised me. He never came back to explain that $2 billion budget. I'll come back. I'll show you. I tried to book him. Never would come back. Of course, Zero Z Zarang is a non-player except for the left. He's still voting for the left. So I saw the $2 billion, folks. It's a lie. It was made up by Jay Darden and Bill Edwards. It was given to the media. The media ran with it. You ask anybody in the media, you think John Georges could come on here and explain the $2 billion budget? No, Jay Darden couldn't either. It wasn't even close. Was not even close to $2 billion. But they did that to scare people, and they scared a lot of Republicans who voted for $7 billion in tax increases. $7 billion in new taxes. And listen, Edwards is bragging, and Jay Darden's bragging about something. The only thing that they had going for them is that one disaster after another brought federal money. 2016 flood, 4 or 5 hurricanes, and COVID brought in so many billions of dollars. That's the only reason they can brag. Well, we had extra money left over. It's that simple. If Jay Darden and John Bel Edwards would have came on my program, they're still welcome, by the way, and they're going to explain to me what they did, what moves they made to make this happen, they would have to lie their off. They would have to lie so much. Everybody would understand they were lying. That's how much they would have to lie to legendary backstabbing Darden and Bell. They would have to just lie. What did they do to create that kind of economy? They didn't. That's why in 2016 to today, we still have a massive outmigration because of Bill Edwards and Jay Darden. They were talking about how great it was, and they get up there, and Darden, Edwards was basically could have been saying, how great thou art, talking about himself. You know? Wow. Yeah, Darden's out there saying Jeff can cut billions of dollars out the budget in the first 3 months. He didn't do that. He offered a simple budget. It's just that's why I call it a hall of shame. It's a hall of shame. Jay Darden gets up there and act like Edwards the greatest governor ever. Well, okay. If he said that, let me just throw some topics out. Y'all tell me how Bel Edwards has made it better. Number one, roads and bridges. $18 billion backlog. Edwards was a representative for 8 years. He didn't do nothing in 16 years for road and bridges, infrastructure. Nothing. $2 billion budget deficit. Bel Edwards voted for not one, not two, but 6 of Bobby Jindal's budgets. He voted when they stripped money out of higher ed, everything. He didn't inherit a $2 billion budget deficit. He voted for it. Let me use the example again. My truck out there, and I don't have a note on it today. When I bought the truck, I had a note. I signed off on it. That's my truck note. Bel Edwards signed off to all those budgets that they claimed were bad, running up deficits. But he never got the credit he deserved for creating the budget deficit. It was a budget deficit. It wasn't $2 billion. That was a lie. So the $2 billion budget. What did Edwards do to fix the crime problem? What did crime do while Bill Edwards and Jay Dardenne was running the state, which I've called a co-governorship? What did they do? Would y'all agree that crime's kind of out of control? What did they do about economy? The out-migration, if you look in the census from 2016 to today, is massive. Why? We don't have the jobs. We didn't even care if we had the jobs for these kids. And Bill Edwards and him are bragging about the greatest governor ever. Don't y'all think he should be able to show something except Medicaid expansion? How can he say the greatest? This not even one of the worst, if not the worst ever. I got Jindal ahead of him now. What did he do about insurance? What did he do about car insurance? What did he do about homeowners insurance? Nothing. What did he do about liability insurance? Nothing. He didn't do anything, folks. He didn't do anything. But he got federal money and taxes increased. That was it. He belongs in a Hall of Shame. I agree with that. But for 45 minutes of tooting his own horn, why didn't it invite me? Not to be in the Hall of Fame. Why didn't it invite me to let me come do the rebuttal to Bill Edwards? Because it's easy. He didn't accomplish anything. He hurt us. Him and Jay Dardenne hurt us. Nobody wants to listen to me. Don't listen to me. They hurt us. Just because you got federal money and you spread it out to everybody, don't mean you were successful. Greatest governor of all time. Yeah, said by a guy who got a $235,000 a year job, and his retirement jumped from about $8,000 or $9,000 a month for the rest of his life. He's making $115,000, the most he ever had made, to $235,000. His retirement is probably anywhere from $14,000 to $18,000 a month for the rest of his life. Of course he's going to brag about Bill. And Tyler Bridges carried the water for them at the Devil's Advocate every chance they got. So they acknowledge him in the audience. That's your Jay Dardenne. Is that the kind of Republican you want? I mean, he's as leftist as anybody I've ever seen. That's Jay Dardenne. That's Bill Edwards. They left his state in a bad shape. Out-migration, unbelievable. No jobs. There's not careers here. That's why these young people are leaving. They're looking for a career. You can always go find a job here. What about a career? It's a shame, huh, folks? A sin and a shame that people like that will brag about something and lie. I wish they'd come over here and lie on the program. I would love to ask them some questions, but I never get the chance. Okay, I never get the chance. All right, let's take a break. 844-766-6607. I just had to fill you in. I got 3 or 4 people that was texting me. And they were commenting. They said, you would throw up if you were here. Don't worry about it. I ain't never going to be there. Take a break. We'll be right back.
It's springtime, and that means garden time here in Louisiana. And Louisiana-owned and operated Stein is where you need to go to get all the great deals on plants and everything else you need for that brand new flower bed you've been wanting to make. Stein has great deals on garden soil, mulch, weed and ant killer, everything you need to lay the groundwork for that brand new flower bed, plus assorted flowers and vegetables in jumbo 6-pack starting at just $2.79. The weather is perfect, and that means you have the opportunity to start bringing those great blossoms into your yard today. Plus, springtime means outdoor cooking, grills, charcoal and propane burners, all of that you need you can find online at steinhome.com. Louisiana-owned and operated, Stein is your place for the gardening and outdoor grilling you need to take advantage of this spring. Check out everything they have to offer online at steinhome.com. That's steinhome.com. Check them out today.
When you think about how you'll spend your money in retirement, what comes to mind? Probably travel, sunny beaches, and spoiling your grandchildren. But a recent survey found that over 30% of every dollar a retiree spends goes to taxes. Baby boomers were told for years to save money in their IRAs and 401ks and pay taxes later. Well, now that day has arrived, and boomers are shocked to see a third of their money going back to Uncle Sam. John Blanchard and the Matthew James Financial Group can help. What if you could? Protect all or most of your retirement wealth from future tax rate increases. Achieve a zero or near zero effective tax rate for most of your retirement years. Find out more. 337-366-8366. Isn't it time you got a second opinion on your wealth and retirement outlook? Learn how you could potentially kick the IRS out of your IRA. 337-366-8366 and online at MatthewJames.com.
Your garage door. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I'm a teacher. I make more.
Make more. Teach. Visit teach.org. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
I don't know why they didn't let me MC the Hall of Fame where that was going in. He could have spoke then. I could have spoke after. I mean, I just can't believe they make up history as they go. They convince people how great they were. All federal money. Budget was $27 billion when he left. It was $53 billion. You think he created that from the jobs he created? Folks, I'm just being blown. Which I just can't stand stupidity and ignorance of telling the people of Louisiana how great somebody is and they're not. Edwin Edwards wasn't great either. Y'all can go. I mean, he's dead now, but they could just move him out the way he hurt us. People don't see it. Anyway, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show, 844-766-6607. Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. I'm just trying to be blunt. I have no idea. Jeff's just starting and got to wait and give him time to see what he's going to do. But Edwards has come and gone. 8 years, and this is the other thing that gets me mad that nobody wants to talk about. 8 years when Bell Edwards was the floor leader for Bobby Jindal on the Democrat Party side. It was Edwards working with Jindal that helped pass all these budgets that he claimed he inherited. When I bought my truck note, I didn't inherit my truck note, folks. I paid the note on it. I put my name on that. Years ago, when I was a lot younger, my aunt gave me a vehicle. My uncle had died. Reed Rainey, he was a State Farm guy in Plaquemine, Louisiana. And I needed a vehicle, and I called my aunt to ask her to let me buy it from him. And she ended up giving it to me. Okay? And that was an inheritance. That was part of what I got. Okay? And I didn't earn it. I didn't deserve it. I didn't get it. But you see that truck note? When I had a truck note, I put my name on that sucker. I earned it. If I couldn't pay for it, that's on me. Same thing with Bell Edwards. He signed off on 3/4 of Bobby Jindal's budgets. He put his name on it. He voted for him. How do you inherit something that you voted for, which nobody's ever brought up at this show? Never too big. He gets to get up in the Hall of Shame. Oh, look what we did. We left it better. Oh, it's a lie. We're not better because Bell Edwards was governor. Our budget, $27 billion to $53 billion. Federal money has become right at the major part of our funding now. We're so dependent. He's bragging about being dependent. I brag when people get that they're independent. You're better off being independent, going to be the best you can be, than being dependent on somebody else doing something for you. And Bell made us dependent. But yet and then Jay Darden called him the best governor ever. For Jay, he was. I mean, let's think if you were going to retire at $8,000 or $9,000 a year, and all you had to do to double it was to put a knife in a Republican like David Vitter. All you had to do was convince people he was such a bad guy and Edwards was such a great guy. All you had to do was knife Vitter, knife the Republican Party, knife the conservatives, put a woke governor in who's bringing in a Green New Deal, and that's how he's going to make all his money. And you got the legendary Jay Darden out there bragging, to Jay, he was a great governor. If you took my retirement from $8,000 a month to $16,000 a month for the rest of my life, I think you're a great guy too. And yet they're able to say all this. And, man, for Jay Darden to recognize Tyler Bridges, the twit, how great he is and how fair he is. That dude ain't got a fair bone in his body. I nicknamed him the twit. Man, you talk about carrying the water for Edwards and them If you need somebody beat up, he did it. If you need to write a story good about Edwards, he did it. I don't blame Jay for recognizing him. He saved him. Because they'd have been writing the truth about Edwards. Edwards would have never won the second time. Edwards shouldn't have won the first time. I ought to write a book, two-term governor that backed in twice. And that's what happened. He literally backed in twice. A guy who should have never been governor. If we'd have had another governor during the flood, during the hurricane, we'd have did just fine. We didn't need the $7 billion in sales tax. We just got a 0.45 that they talking about extending it even further. That 0.45 was a penny that went to a 1.45. You know what Edwards and them did? They said they cut taxes. They raised them a penny. For 27 months, they cut it down to 0.45 for 7 years, and they call that a tax cut. Give me a break. You raise it, then you cut it, and you call it a cut. I mean, the lies that went through the Biden, and then not to mention what Edwards did to us during COVID, trying to get vaccines on Liberty kids in schools. Letting boys to play in girls' sports, letting kids under the age of 18 getting sex operations. That was Bell. Ronald Green got killed. He shut his mouth about that because it was election year to protect himself with the black vote. And go on and on and on. But I'm not. I'm going to stop. I had enough myself. So if you're hanging up going, I had enough of this, well, it's the truth, every bit of it. I had enough too. Let's move on. Blank Page Cortez getting involved in speeding cameras. That and the ESA's Education Savings Account. It's probably really important that we get this done, folks. Talk about that as well. Hey, folks, this is Moon Griffon. I built my dream home. Start imagining your dream home. And when you do, make sure you call my friends or get in touch with my friends at Schumacher Homes. SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com. When you tour a Schumacher model home, you're in control. Stop by during operating hours and tour at your own pace. There's a reason my friends at Schumacher have been building homes for over 30 years. They're committed to making the home building process as enjoyable, simple, and hassle-free as possible. Call them or visit them, SchumacherHomes.com. SchumacherHomes.com to schedule your free, no-obligation design and pricing meeting. Hey, it's an hour or two of your time working on your dream home. And my friends over at Schumacher Homes just announced some exciting news. You can get a mortgage rate as low as 2.875% when you finance with Schumacher Homes. That is 2.875% when you finance with Schumacher Mortgage. Hey, the whole Schumacher team is dedicated to making sure your dream home becomes a reality. SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com. Folks, remember the name All Field Equipment, allfieldequipment.com. When I say All Field, that's ALL Field.com. All Field Equipment, founded in 2016 by my good friend, Mr. Bill Allen, with over 50 years' experience in the oil and gas industry. Hey, this is a great company to do business with, whether it's production equipment, control valves, controller, glyco pumps, chemical pumps, chokes, Wilden pumps, Barton recorders. All Field has new rebuilt and parts. All Field handles some of the industry's top brands such as Norasil, Fisher, and Kimray. On the supply side, All Field has anything from Q-tips to appliances to general All Field supplies. All Field is one of the largest suppliers of bottled water in the Gulf. And remember, All Field never changes transportation. Like the name says, All Field has it all, covering the Architects area and the Gulf of Mexico. All Field Equipment, 337-837-1003, 337-837-1003.
Looking for a... This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% List Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show, 844-766-6607 and Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. You can email me, moon@moongriffon.com. Check out our Facebook, Friends of Moon Griffon. You can check that out. There's a solar eclipse on my Facebook. You can go check it out for yourself. So I want to talk. There's a lot of issues to talk about, and we'll get to ESAs and this this angle that everybody rich will get a break. Kids in private schools, absolute joke. Most of the private schools are built with middle class dollars. This is. They got some wealthy people send their kids to private school, no doubt about it. I would too. And I got kids that went to both. So I'm just telling you, we'll get to that in a sec, because this thing about wealthy parents get a break in private schools, it ain't the wealthiest people. It ain't just the wealthy people sending to private school. We don't have that kind of wealthy people around here anyway. You wouldn't have, somebody out there let me know, how many private schools you think would exist if middle-class people and parents didn't sacrifice to send their kids to a private school, whether it's parochial, whatever. You tell me how many people, parents out there. I was talking to Brian Haldane today in Baton Rouge. He's got him, he's working 3 jobs. I know what he's doing. He's putting his kids through school. And everybody, most parents will do that for their kids. Anyway, before I get to that, Louisiana legislature could hold plan to install speeding cameras on the Atchafalaya Basin. Folks, bridge, we need to get that done. It's not even fair. It's not right. 2 years ago, it was enacted. 2 years ago. Why has this taken 2 years? Well, Page Cortez, Blank Page, who helped push this, I still believe he pushed this for some buddies of his. I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope I'm not proving anything, because I hope they get rid of them. So they went, Blake Miguez and Caleb Kleinpe. The bridge runs through the parishes in the districts. I told you before, the law enforcement people don't want it. Local sheriffs support Miguez's bill. Quote, Brett Stassi, Iberville Parish, no Brett. I went to elementary school and high school with him. We have manned it. We have worked hard. Said Brett Stassi, Iberville Parish, total transportation kid. I have seen a drastic drop in accidents in Iberville Parish. There it is. But see, Blank didn't worry about that. When Blank Page Cortez wanted this, he wanted it. He told his city he wants it. He got the house, and he got the Shady Shakes night, and they got it passed because of the pressure they put on people. In an interview in the Devil's Advocate, and Times-Picayune, former Senate President, boy, I love you, that former Senate President, warned against undoing the law which he sponsored. Who did he sponsor this for? Was it for himself or his buddies? Who did he sponsor this for? Cortez crossed the bridge when he commuted from Lafayette to Baton Rouge. He almost got to run off the road numerous times by cars weaving in and out of traffic at 80 miles per hour. Hey, Blank, how many lawmakers were going 80? Now, by the way, I say that for a reason. I'm going to get back to it in just a second. The new legislature, he said, has a right to change the policy, but they also have to accept the responsibility that the change would bring about, which is possibility more accidents and more fatalities. It's a shame. Why don't he talk about the money side of this? Because what Miguez and Kleinpe want to do, Iberville Parish and St. Martin Parish, they're the ones that will police it. They're the ones that will make the money. They're the ones that have a more vested interest. Let them do it. Why do we want to send $700 to $1,000 fine? You want to send that to some company out of state or somebody that knew somebody to get the job? And that's why I think Blank ain't being honest with us, but I don't think he's ever been honest with us. Local sheriffs support Miguez. They said they've stepped their efforts to enforce traffic violations on the bridge, filling in for state police where the agency lacks manpower. Data reflecting crashes on the bridge could not be immediately obtained, and it's unclear whether other measures such as increased fines and signs may also have contributed to the decline. Anyway, so you say, well, Moon, what's the big deal about Blank talking about people driving? Look, I don't like people to go fast on that sucker either. It's scary. I lock in about 62 and I get to the right side. That's 2 miles an hour over the speed limit. I don't know if I'm doing right or wrong. Somebody may call and say, you're the devil. Let me see if I can find this. There was a buddy of mine. Okay. He was on that bridge. And he was on the bridge going across. And he took a picture. He got behind a car, a truck. It was a truck. Now, he got up to 80 miles an hour behind the truck. The reason he got behind the truck was that he saw that it was a lawmaker. And he took a picture of the truck doing 80, and then he backed off to the regular speed limit. Now, I got to go off memory because I haven't been able to pull it up yet, but I'm going to pull it up for you. And I think it was House District 80. House District 80. A representative in House District 80, and if I'm wrong, I'm going to find the right number, was doing 80 miles an hour. A representative was doing 80. Blank Page said he almost got run over with people doing 80 miles an hour. I wonder if it was another representative doing 80 miles an hour. I've talked to him. You know they can't get a ticket? That's why they put them numbers on the back. I had somebody tell me from North Louisiana, from Baton Rouge to Monroe is a little longer than Baton Rouge and Shreveport, but one of them told me they can make it about 2 hours and 10 minutes. I said, how you do that? He said, I got the license plate on the back. So before Blank Page starts talking about people doing 80, maybe Blank Page ought to check with his own representatives. I didn't search for it. I was just curious if anybody listened to the program knows where House District 80 is located. Because then we'll know what representative was doing 80 miles. Matter of fact, the guy told me who it was, but until I really pull this up, I want to make sure without telling you something that's not right. Let's see if I can find it. And I apologize. I had this. I promise y'all, I had this thing ready to roll. And dang it, I lost the. Man, it's just too much going on at one time. I'm gonna pull this sucker up now. I'm gonna pull it up because I want to tell y'all the proper information. All right, let's see if I got it here. All right. Okay. No, that wasn't the right district number. That's why I didn't want to jump on it. I'm going to get the right district. I got a picture of it in my phone. The guy sent it to me and said, dude, this dude's doing 80 miles an hour on the Basin Bridge. I said, well, how you know it was 80? He took a picture of his odometer and a picture of the deal, and he got it all in there. He said then he backed up. He wanted to see who it was. But it wasn't 80. I'm going to find a district for you. I got it in my phone. I just got to find it. I got the picture and everything. I could have used it, had some fun with it. I didn't. But Blank Page wants to talk about people doing 80. Tell them representatives and senators to slow their rear ends down. Maybe there won't be too many people doing 80 miles an hour. But I'm telling y'all, this is about money. And Blake said it right. This is about, to them, safety. This is about safety. Cortez is talking about safety, but he won't tell us who he knows in the business to help put. You don't think Blank Page Cortez just said, oh, I think this is what we need to do. Somebody came to him and said, look, do this. They're going to have to have cameras. We can make a lot of money. That's why I'm telling y'all, if I'm hoping Blake and him can knock this down and kill this. I know the governor's for killing it. So they need to go ahead and kill this. All right, more stories to come. We got to take a break. You're listening to Moon Griffon Show. From the humbling beginning, Dino Hardwoods is striving to provide superior service and quality products for their customers. Hey, I know Charles Altman. He does a great job. If you're looking for lumber, Dino Hardwood stocks a large selection of domestic and import hardwood lumber and cypress. You ought to see their stuff. Exotic lumber, they got that as well. Trust in Dino Hardwoods when it comes to your exotic lumber needs right now. Molding, plywood, paint, and L products, they are ready for you. They got 3 great locations. Their corporate office is right here in Broussard, Louisiana. There's an office in Shreveport on 2801 Valley View Drive and one in Tyler, Texas, 12492 Highway 155 North. Hey, if you're looking for something different and something new and somebody who will service you, It's Dino Hardwoods. I'm telling you, don't forget Dino Hardwoods. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com. Great locations. They can service you. They can deliver. DinoHardwoods.com. Check out this great Louisiana company. Folks, you hear me brag about an advertisement. South Star Urgent Care is the name you need to know. Listen, you look up, you're in the middle of the night, you're looking, God, where do we go? South Star Urgent Care. They open on weekends. They open at night. They can get you taken care of. If you're sick, if you're feeling bad, maybe you coughing, dehydrated, fever, flu, fracture, South Star Urgent Care wants to service you, and they're going to treat you like you want to be treated. They're going to get you in, get you out. You're not going to sit in a dark waiting room for a bunch of times. South Star Urgent Care. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com. You know you can register before you go and set your appointment. Hey, it's really cool. These folks at South Star greet you with a genuine smile and make you feel very comfortable. Folks, you're looking for the perfect urgent care? It's South Star Urgent Care. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com. South Star Urgent Care. It's the urgent care you need. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com. Hello, Acadiana. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is the number if you'd like to be part of the program. It's the Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Hotline. I got it. Y'all might have to tell me who was in it. 2022 when Paige Cortez was mad at people doing 80 miles an hour. And my buddy, it was House District 42. I'm sorry, I lied to you. 81 miles an hour. That's who Blank Page was talking about. Now, I don't know who's in House District 42 right now, but it was the House District 42 before the new election. Can anybody help out? He was doing 81. My buddy's right there behind him, got real close where you can get 42, District 42. They got a little bullet head guy in the front, and he's driving a pickup truck. 82 miles an hour. Maybe that's who Blank Page was talking about. Now, I don't know who was in there. Oh, no, I found out who it was. Oh, my God. John Stefanski, who wanted to be in charge of he wanted to be the Attorney General. John Stefanski, that's who this is. 81 miles an hour in a 60 in 2022. Blank Page and Stefanski, I promise you, voted for this. 81 miles an hour across the bridge. How come it's okay for Stefanski to do it and Blank Page to talk about it? I've got the picture, folks. Matter of fact, if you want to, I just had a post. I'll post it tomorrow. 81 miles an hour. Now, folks, I got to tell you, these lawmakers may be, quote, special, but they're not that damn special. Matter of fact, if you recall, folks, the head of the state police was doing about 84, 90 miles an hour on the bridge. Oh, yeah. This was that a year or two ago, too. So is this going to be where the average citizen got to do what they say and get a camera? But if Stefanski was still in there, and he's not, that's a good thing. If he was still in there, he wouldn't get a ticket because he could send it back and say, well, I'm a representative. I don't get a ticket. It's 81 miles an hour, zooming the cars. And Blank Page is, in a quote, and I'm quoting him now, don't get mad at me, former Senator Blank Page Cortez. Almost got run off the road numerous times by cars weaving in and out of traffic at 80 miles an hour. I wonder if he called Stefanski and told him, don't do that no more. It needs to be September 18, 2022. Blank Page had already passed the bill with the help of John Stefanski, one of the fraud squad members. And then Stefanski, with this new law going into effect, it's coming doing 81 miles an hour on the Basin Bridge. By the way, I remember another one. His name was Bananas Foster. Oh, you don't know Bananas. Bananas Foster was a state senator. Bananas Foster got on the interstate before it was finished. Got in a wreck. He got hurt. Okay? He got hurt bad. He sued the state. He got on the interstate that was not ready to run, got hurt, sued the state and won. And I don't want to hear, well, he sued the state and won. So let's start coming up with these laws. I say, okay, yeah, people are starting to tell me that district in 42, Crowley, parts of Dussault, Church Point, Rain, by the way, John Stefanski, after his buddy Page Cortez, Blank Page had passed the bill. Folks, get rid of it. We need lawmakers to get rid of this. This is not even, it's one bridge. We got lots of bridges that people go too fast on. Blank Page, if y'all do this, y'all going to be responsible for the accident. What about your buddy doing 81? Some kind of way, only a lawmaker could sue the state on doing something stupid and then get paid for it. That's an incredible act. But anyway, I hope we're successful in getting rid of that. We don't need it. Put the speed limits the same. Let Everville Parish, Brett Stassi and St. Martin Parish Sheriff said, we're good doing it like we're doing it. I just think we ought to find out who was going to get the contract in this. Because my gut feeling is the way the contract's written, not many people could put the speed cameras that they want on the basin. And the money is basically going to be made mostly from the speed cameras. Some private entity will be making money on us. Blank Page knows it. I've never heard one person try to challenge me on this. That's kind of, I get challenged on some stuff we say. But they know what's going on. I'm almost thinking Blank, I just wonder what deal Blank cut. Okay? I just wonder what he's done. Somebody made a good point. They said, when a trooper pulls a speedo over, the unsafe act immediately ends. When you get a ticket in the mail weeks later, it's less effective in curing the unsafe act. Bingo. I said 100% right. You got a guy on there stopping him right then. You're guilty right now. You're getting a ticket. You can fight it in court if you want to. That's why I'm telling y'all this has always been a brother-in-law deal and Blank Page Cortez. We may never find out. But if this thing stays, we're going to find out who's getting that contract. And I can promise you, there'll be somebody who knows somebody. They didn't just, look, folks, a lot of these laws they pass, somebody makes money on them. Not all of them. But if it's about safety, think about it. If it's about safety, then let's do the things that make us safe. It can't always be about money. But if those state troopers or our friends in Everville Parish or St. Martin Parish stop somebody, they ought to get the money. Somebody else made another point. Can a speed camera stop sex trafficking, drug trafficking, and unsafe vehicles if they find somebody? No, they can't. Speed cameras don't do nothing but make somebody filthy rich. I know of a camera company that a lobbying group here in Lafayette was representing. I haven't looked to see if they were still representing the camera company. I will tell you the lobbying company that represents the Cameron company all support Blank Page Cortez. They've supported them, and they got other former elected officials involved in the group. I ain't got no proof that they're the ones behind it. I ain't got no proof that they're going to get the contract. That's why I want to know who's going to get the contract. The contract does matter. Putting signs up there and saying we're going to be patrolled by law enforcement. You will be given a ticket. And they put the law enforcement, I think people would get it after a while. There's new people that go across that bridge every day, and there's people like us that travel it all the time. So I just think we need to find out what's going on and why did Blank Page do this. All right, college championship yesterday. South Carolina won in the girls' game. It was unbelievable what the coach said before the game about allowing transgender men play in a college game. Think about it. College girls basketball, which I think is your favorite. College girls basketball is at the top. It's at the top, and it's up there where it's ever been. It's never been as high, never been as popular, never been any of it. And it is now. And the lady that won the national championship, Dawn Staley, thinks men ought to be able to play in the women's basketball. She's winning with women. Anyway, we got all that later in the program. When we get back, though, ESA's Education Savings Account. Everybody's got an opinion. You're welcome to give it here. 844-766-6607, Matthew James, Tax and Wealth Management Hotline. Take a break. Be right back. Line One is a business telecom provider. Line One specializes in cloud-based communication with superior customer service. If you're frustrated with phone bills you can't understand, endless hold time to customer support, and phone system that is not meeting your needs, then you need to go to Line.1 and schedule a free consultation to advance your business phone system. Line One, technology with a human touch. Go to Line.1 and tell them Moon sent you. Again, that is Line.1. News Talk, 96.5, KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the Matthew James Financial Studio.
It won't last long, and it won't happen again for 20 years. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. In a few hours, the moon will start to eclipse the sun.
We're going to see it later on today. There's special glasses to use them, so I'm looking forward to it.
She's in Pennsylvania. Americans in all 48 lower states will get to see at least a partial eclipse. There will be areas that's going to be full, from Texas to Maine.
There's a lot of excitement, just like there's a buzz in the air.
He's among those who've traveled to Bloomington, Indiana, from where Fox Business Network's Kelly Saberi reports.
The last solar total eclipse was in 2017, and it only lasted about 2 minutes and 42 seconds. You will be able to view this one in totality, if you're lucky enough, for about 4.5 minutes in some places.
Former President Trump has laid out his abortion policy ahead of a Biden rematch, saying there should not be a federal standard on when abortion should be allowed or banned.
The states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land.
In reaction, the Biden campaign put out a statement blaming the former president and his Supreme Court appointees for undoing a woman's right to abortion, saying he's responsible for cruelty and chaos after some states banned the procedure. The president's on the move, heading to Wisconsin. Fox Business Network's Edward Lawrence reports from Madison he'll give millions more Americans more student loan debt relief.
It automatically forgives loans for undergraduate students who started repaying more than 20 years ago. For graduate students who started paying 25 years ago, it includes students whose universities failed to provide adequate financial aid, but doesn't define that exactly. It also includes forgiveness for people who can show hardship in paying back their loans. Again, no big exact definition.
We just got this news from New York City. Actor Jonathan Majors will not be going to prison. A judge just sentenced him to probation. Majors was found guilty of misdemeanor assault and harassment after a fight with his now ex-girlfriend last year. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up! and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. Are you still on the fence about owning gold? It's time to pull the trigger with the Oxford Gold Group and buy gold and silver. Nobody can predict the future, but we can't put our head in the sand either. The Oxford Gold Group are the pros. They make owning gold and silver simple and easy to understand. Call Oxford Gold Group right now, and you may qualify for up to $10,000 in free precious metals. Call 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995.
Court-appointed special advocates, or CASA, are specially trained volunteers that help secure safe homes for abused and neglected children. Don't let these innocent victims slip through the cracks of our complicated legal system. Get involved today. Call CASA at 268-5111. This nonprofit organization moment brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
It's time to win cash. Get your KPEL News apps ready because here's your chance to win up to $30,000. Just enter the following code into your KPEL News app where it says win cash, and make sure you listen for more codes throughout the day because the more codes you enter, the better your chances. Here is your next code.
Your 10 o'clock code is 483. 483. That's your 10 o'clock code. Open up your app and hit the Win Cash button now.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show, hour number 2 of the Moon Griffon Show. Thank y'all for being part of it. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. All right, so the big topic, and I need to get back to insurance too because, and I will, but big question is education savings accounts. And I'm kind of ticks me off a little bit that the people in the school systems don't want to change anything. And I hear from teachers, I hear from people all the time. I did get pointed at a lady. Told me she was very upset with me for supporting education savings account. And that's fine. I mean, you have a right to do that. I say something, you want to tongue lash me, you can. There's just some misnomers out there that I think ought to stop. Steve Parocchio, I always say his name, not Pinocchio, came out with a figure. It's going to cost $520 million extra a year. Now, we found out now that was just a bogus bunch of bunk. But the media ran with it because that's what they do. And that's a misnomer. The amount of money on this thing is $258 million, and that's in the third year, not the first or the second year. That's one myth that I wish people in the media would quit printing that because it was made up by PAR, supposed to be a good government group. And I'm sure at some time they were, but I don't see what they do anymore. I just don't see what they do. Maybe they're great, but I don't see it. Because they never question elected officials. They never challenge them at all. So that's the first misnomer. Here's another big one. This is a big one to me. The big question in Louisiana school choice, should wealthy parents get a break on private school? The misnomer that only wealthy people send their kids to private school is just an outright lie. You start talking to people that I talk to and that you talk to, okay? And you start visiting with folks, and they'll tell you really, really quick that they struggle to send their kids to private school. And the reason they struggle to send their kids to private school is real simple, is they're making a sacrifice in the living they have whether it's the vehicles they buy or whatever, they're not folks, and they're not all rich that go to private school. I'm telling you right now, the percentage of people that send their kids to private school, I bet you if you took all the private school students in this state, I bet you the percentage of people that send their kids to private school in the middle class is probably 80+%, maybe 85 or 90%. It's not what they're telling you. Everybody has a story how they sent their kids to private school from the middle class and the strain and the stress of doing it. I have heard so many people that told me they got a gigantic pay raise when their kids went to college because of the amount of money they were paying at a private school. When the media continues to put out only the wealthy and the rich are going to private school, I'm far from wealthy and rich. Miss Maddie stayed in a private school. I had one kid that finished in a public, and my son sitting right here was in a public school, and had I never left Monroe to Sterlington area, where I lived, he'd have graduated Sterlington High School. When I moved here, I decided to make a change. And I know the sacrifice we have to make as parents to send your kids to private school. So when I see the misnomer, this is the biggest one going out there, well, we're going to be giving breaks to private school, wealthy parents at private school. Folks, there's not that many wealthy people in the state. It's 85% of the middle class supports the private schools. It's not. And the other thing that makes you mad, that the education savings accounts are really designed for one thing, and they don't talk about this either, to help kids in poor performing schools to get a better opportunity. What is wrong with that? The Devil's Advocate. The catch of the new program would be open to all, including wealthy families, replacing existing vouchers that help low-income parents afford private schools. Folks, the public school money is about $14,000 they get from local and Bessie gets from the state. It does not affect all that money because it doesn't affect local money. The thing that I ought to be telling people says, hey, the local taxes you're paying for education will stay right here locally. Matter of fact, check this out. The money that's going to move with the education savings account is going to stay in the area too. It's not going anywhere. Another thing, they making it sound like that everybody's going to do this. A state like Arizona has 3% of their whole student body taking advantage of vouchers. 3%. So let's say we double it and put 6 or 7%. How is that going to bring down the school systems and amount of money that's going to be taken out of their pocket? If a school system cannot step up and say, we can compete, what do you want me to do? And who wants to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results? I mean, this is kind of a no-brainer in a way. In 2027, ESA programs could cost nearly $258 million. 6 times as much as current need-based vouchers, according to the legislative estimate. So it could cost $258 million. Well, the guy from Paul said it was going to be $520 million the first year, every year. Just made it up, and guess who ran with it? The Advocate. Much like they ran with the $2 billion budget deficit that Jay Darden, the backstabber, and Bell came up with. See what they do? Go ask the Advocate where they got the $2 billion from. Ask them where they got the $520. They will make, PAR came out with it. And so what happens is the media runs with it and uses PAR as the source. PAR's was made up out of thin air. There was no facts or figures or nothing to even base it on. They just threw a number out there so the media could run with it. Education savings accounts are not to do away with public schools. I'll say it again. The masses will be educated in a public school. We just want them to be good. Making them compete does not make them bad. It makes you better. Quick story. When I was a ninth grader, going to ninth grade at Plaquemine High School. Back then, junior high was 7th, 8th, 9th. Now, ninth grade has moved to high school. Since we're talking about 70, oh, Jesus, I don't even know, totally in the 70s. And I never forget, during summer basketball practice, me and a guy by the name of Dana Davis, they brought up to practice with the varsity and the JV in the summer practice. I got to tell you, I got my butt beat up, kicked around. I was a decent player. But I did good, too. I always said that was the year I improved the most. Why? I had to compete against people that were better than me, stronger than me. I was the best looking, but that's beside the point. I had to compete. Years later, Coach, his name was Coach John Bush. They called him Weed Bush. He won a state championship at Plaquemine. I think he won 1 or 2 at White Castle. He's a heck of a basketball coach. I played for him and Rick Huckabee. Both of them were as good a high school basketball coach you could play from far, knowing the game and how to teach it. Rick's passed away, of course. But I never forget, it taught me, wow, when you play against people that are better than you, that make you be the best you can be, it's how you grow. When I became a sophomore, I got on a team that had 12 seniors. And man, I had to grow up. But I grew up because I was the competition. That doesn't just go for sports, that goes for schools. That goes for your job. Competition is what makes it better. And the schools need to compete. There's so much misnomer about the education savings account. Why don't we try something new? You know, if this dies, then where do we leave education? We got Cade Brumley, New Bessie Board. Some of the local governments and local entities have turned over. I'm hoping that'll change. Why not give this a shot? This is not going to break one school. Remember, we're spending more money, and the number of kids going to school is going down, 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 down because of our migration. I don't understand that. When I had 6 people at my house, okay, I had me and my bride and 4 kids, it cost us more than when we had 3 or 4. Doesn't that make sense? It should, right? Well, if you got less students in a school and we've hired more people at schools, that's the problem. We hired so many more people, we spending so much more money because we've lost focus of the kid versus the student. I got letters. You're welcome to email me these. Email me, moon@moongriffon.com. How are y'all, just quick note, how are y'all sending your kids to private schools? And is everybody out there in a private school filthy rich like the media wants you to believe? It's not. All of us have sacrificed for our kids. If we felt like the public schools were good, we left them in. If we didn't, we left. Just your thoughts. moon@moongriffon.com. Quick stories, not, I can't do a whole book. But let me take a break. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. We'll take a break. Be right back. Line One is a business telecom provider. Line One specializes in cloud-based communication with superior customer service. If you're frustrated with phone bills you can't understand, endless hold time to customer support, and phone system that is not meeting your needs, then you need to go to Line.One and schedule a free consultation to advance your business phone system. Line One, technology with a human touch. Go to Line.One and tell them Moon sent you. Again, that is Line.One. Oh, Shucks, you've been hearing me brag about Shucks. Been going there for many, many years. Shucks does a great job. If you like seafood, you got to go to Shucks in Abbeville. I'm telling you right now, there's shrimp, there's oysters, there's fish, all fresh, every day right off the boat. So if you want something fresh and you want fresh seafood, you got to go to Shucks. Don't forget, if you're having a party, call Shucks. Let them cater the event for you. Or you can go pick it up. Shucks, they're waiting on you. If you want a great time and you want great food, you got to go to Shucks in Abbeville. Shucks, they're good. Folks, I want to tell you about one of my new advertisers, Adapt Concepts AC Service Repairs. Serving all of Acadiana, surrounding areas, and the Gulf of Mexico for over 6 years. Full-service AC and heating company, repairs, installation, and preventive maintenance, which is very, very important. Installation service, professional quality services, focus on creating value for you. Terms of certified technician, 24/7 customer service, and free consultation. I'm talking Adapt Concepts, AC Service Repairs. You want the professionals, you want the best, this is them. Purchase a qualified high-efficient system for maintenance, plus get a free 12-year parts and labor warranty. Wow, don't you want to know about that? Call them at 337-408-8202. That's 337-408-8202. Or go to the website, adapt-ac.com. That's adapt-ac.com. When you think about how Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. What a day. What a day. Beautiful Monday, 844-766-6607. Matthew James, Tax and Wealth Management Hotline. Here's a quick one. When I send my kids to private schools on the North Shore, I drive a 2012 Honda Odyssey with over 200,000 miles because of it. School choice needs to happen. Public schools have become so massive and expensive to build and maintain. Give the money back to the parents, let them decide. School boards across Louisiana made 5-year-olds wear masks all day at school. That was sick. That's Bell Edwards' legacy. That is enough for me to not ever trust the public schools. Change how the money is distributed and watch the level of education state grow readily and steadily. Well, we need to see if that's going to happen. I'll never forget the mask on these children. Mask on anybody was stupid. On children, I'll never, ever, ever understand that. Never. All righty, let's go. Jack, somewhere in Mississippi. Jack, how you doing?
Doing fine, Moon. I was a teacher at a private school, and I can tell you that maybe 10% of my students were, quote-unquote, wealthy, the doctors' and lawyers' kids, bankers' kids, stuff like that. A lot of them were loggers, and I tell you who you could ask. Ask your buddy Joe Cunningham how many of the kids who went to school with him at St. Mary's, which was the school that I taught at, were wealthy.
No, but that's what I'm saying, Jack. But they keep writing these headlines, wealthy, wealthy, wealthy people. Who do they consider wealthy? Somebody making $50,000 a year? Because I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people making between $50,000 and $100,000 a year. That's the people sending their kids to private school, Jack. There's not enough rich people in the state to send their kids to private school. Private schools couldn't make it.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, why you think they're always raising money?
Well, right. Trust me, we did a lot of fundraising when I was there.
Yep.
But another thing, you're talking about, the wealthy are going to get a voucher. Great. That's their tax money, too.
Well, the wealthy pays taxes. The middle class pays taxes.
They get a return on their taxes.
Yeah. By the way, though, Jack, here's the sad thing about it. There's nobody that's not in private school that ain't going to stay. There's some people in public might go private. There may be some private go public. You never know. But I think they ought to let them compete. But I'm just telling you, this only rich people, wealthy people send their kids to private school. The sacrifices like the one I just read, we all made them. We all made them.
Oh, absolutely. I know you made the sacrifice because St. Thomas More was not an inexpensive school to send Maddie to. I know.
Hell, Jack, I had two of them. I had Walker, my son, is with me right now, went and we moved the whole family to go to the school there just to help her out. And let me tell you something. I knew that was going to be an expensive booger, but that ain't a cut. They did a hell of a job, and we're thankful for them. All right, Jack, I'll let you go. One of the other things, too. Why ain't these same school systems bickering and fussing about all these illegals that are in school that's costing us hundreds of millions of dollars. We had somebody on last week said it was $30 million a year just in Jefferson Parish alone to educate the children. Illegals based on the 1,500, 2,000 number of illegals in the school system. Jefferson Parish alone. Why don't these same school systems say, look, we're going to teach our citizens? Why don't they tell the federal government to get lost? But they can't because the federal government's giving them all the money. We got to have some higher intelligence to get past where we are right now. These illegals are coming in and they're eating up the schools. They are coming in. We have to provide everything under the sun for them. We ought to not have to provide anything for them. They're illegal. Well, that's just mean. It ain't mean. It's just a fact. I mean, why don't we just be honest with ourselves sometimes? All these people bickering about money in the school system. Why in the world are we spending hundreds of millions of dollars on illegals? That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Actually makes no sense at all. But we're gonna sit here. But I'm sick of the misnomer. Oh, it's gonna break the public school. Oh, only the rich people are gonna get it. Oh, it's $520 million. None of that's true. But that's what's coming out of Devil's Advocate in the newspapers and every day when it comes out the media. I don't know if education savings accounts are going to pass. I don't. I get in two sides of the story. I get some sides say, oh, no, it's rolling. I get another side of the story say, well, the Senate might screw it up like they screw everything else up. Ask the school system why are they hiring so many people when we got less students than we had last year and the year before because of Bell Edwards and Jay Darden's policies of running people out the state, because that's what they did. Just give it a shot. I don't think we have anything to lose by doing this. Nothing. But just no more misinformation from the media on education safety. And the school boards need to quit with their misinformation as well. All right, 844-766-6607, Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. If you got a story about your sacrifice for your kids at private school, let us know. moon@moongriffon.com.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah. Spring is here, and if you love seafood like I do, you need Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning, and Ragin' Cajun's delicious seafood dinners like etouffee, Creole sauce, shrimp and grits, seafood bisque, gumbo and roux. All Ragin' Cajun products are made right here in Acadiana. Folks, trust me, they are good. Ask for the Ragin' Cajun and all your favorite grocery stores today. Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning. Ask them for the Ragin' Cajun. Oh, man, I love me some Superior Grill. Superior Grill, the best Mexican food in the state of Louisiana, bar none, baby. They are the best, and you're going to love them, too. They got great drinks and food, and the atmosphere is second to none. They know what they're doing. They know how to serve. Hey, folks, you do know they cater. They do cater. Superior Grill, located in New Orleans, Shreveport, and Baton Rouge, Lafayette right around the corner. You're going to love Superior Grill. You're going to love the atmosphere. You're going to love the taste. They can handle anything you got. Folks, they got happy hours. They really serve the people. And you're going to love Superior Grill. I love it. You're going to love it. I cannot wait to go to Superior Grill. I've been going to Superior Grill now for 29 years. Let me tell you, I know all about Superior Grill. And I want good Mexican food. I'm going to Superior Grill. I want to see you there. We're going to have a blast.
Where are you at, Acadiana?
This hour brought to you by Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management. Online at MatthewJames.com.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Fawn Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Matthew James, Tax Wealth Management Hotline. I was glad to see Kansas City. They voted down a tax increase to build a new stadium. I always thought it was kind of silly. These big professional organizations that consider themselves nonprofits get to build these big stadiums at the cost of taxpayers. I got to tell you, and I'm not specifically talking about any tax right now, but with the cost of inflation because of Biden administration, what they're doing in Washington, printing this money, Green New Deal. I saw food prices up 40% since 2019. I just don't understand why somebody would vote for them for a tax on them for themselves. On themselves. Just with inflation is devastating. Just what it costs you to insure your car and your home now. Liability insurance on these trucking companies and things of that nature. Inflation. Why would I'm just curious? Why would a community or state or government vote for a tax where we are right now? Which, by the way, will make things worse, not better. I know, Moon, governments, I understand that. I'm just asking a question. I'm not telling anybody what to do. I just want to know, why would you vote for a tax, sales tax, property tax, whatever tax? I'm not getting in anybody's local business with their taxes. I'm just asking the question, why would you? Just because I'm really, I'm just real curious. Because, I mean, I know there's tax stuff out there. I mean, I know there's people getting ready to try to raise taxes. But, man, with the cost of everything, I do not understand why anybody would say, well, let them take another penny or half a cent or 1/3 of a cent or raise my property taxes. I mean, I just shake when people do that. I go, wow, what are they thinking? But there are people that do it, and I'm kind of shocked about it. I'm not voting. That's me, hard-headed, call me whatever you want. I'm not voting to give any more of my money away. You know, we give our money away, we vote for all these school taxes, and then when they say, well, let's do some educating savings account, the people that are against you are the people that you voted taxes for locally. And the local tax dollar is not leaving the schools. You need to go, if y'all want to do a simple math, I'll give y'all some homework. Anybody in the school district, go to your school district and find out what the budget was 10 years ago and what it is today. And then in the flip side, 2 other things. Find out how many students were there 10 years ago and how many are there today. Okay? Find out what the school budget was. Find out what it's increased to. Find out how many students you have. Find out how many you got now. And here's another big one. Find out how many employees you had in the school system 10 years ago and what you got today. I bet you if you would get honest numbers on those, I bet you can come to a conclusion for yourself about money in schools and how does it improve. I guarantee you. No doubt in my mind. You can probably answer a lot of questions. But let me ask you a question. So if you go do this and you find out that revenue is up in 10 years, 80%, 60%, whatever it is, and you find out that your students are down 20%, but you find out you've employed another 10 or 15%. I'm just kind of I'm just saying if you what would be your idea of what's in a perfect world. Well, how would you think about that? Let's see, the money's up, the students are down, and employment's up. We need more money. That's the part I don't understand. All right, let's go to the phone line. Simone joins us. Simone, how you doing?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Simone, I'm hanging in there despite me. How about yourself?
I'm calling in, and I'm glad that you've taken up this subject this morning. So I just wanted to call and give you my thoughts on ESAs.
By the way, let me just say this. Simone used to be a representative for many years and still works. I think you still work in government.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, these are my thoughts. First of all, on a personal level, you asked for parents to call in that educated their children in the private school system. We chose to educate our children in parochial schools, and I've never regretted that at all. However, we worked very hard. I was a banker all my life, and as most people know, we didn't make a lot of money in banking. And my husband sacrificed and went to work offshore, 7 and 7, his entire life, and was away from home. Basically because we had to do then what we're asking the education system to do now. Set your priorities. So we set those priorities. Education was a huge factor in raising our children. We wanted to make sure that they had an education that they could go be productive citizens later on in life. That meant us choosing the parochial, the private system, because we didn't have any choice. My children are all grown now. So in those days, we had no choice. So we paid a lot of taxes. We paid into the public school system, which I still do today as being retired. And I don't resent that at all. I think everyone knows how important the public school system is and should be. But we set our priorities, and that's what we did, because we did not have a choice. So what I'll say is I've been a supporter of ESAs before they even said ESAs all my life, and we didn't even get a tax break. You could not claim private schools on your taxes at the end of the year to get any tax dollars back. So what I'm saying is my husband and I were those middle-class people that sacrificed. I would tell my kids, we can't go on vacation because vacation just wasn't a priority to us. So on that side, on the personal side, I want you to know, and your listeners, I am a supporter of the ESAs, and I have been, because the people, I think now, what you're seeing, and I'm so excited about, is we should have always put children first in their education, and also allowed parents to just make that choice on how they wanted to educate their children.
By the way, Simone, my walk and your walk's about the same for us wanting to have the best for your kids. It doesn't affect me now. And I still think we ought to give these kids a shot, because some of these kids in such bad schools, you got to give them a shot. This gives them a shot, I think.
That you're exactly correct. And, this is, if you want equal treatment of all, this is one of the best ways to enhance our education system and give parental choice throughout the system. We have wonderful schools in our area, and I admit that. I don't believe that these schools are going to lose a whole lot.
I don't either.
But you also want children that don't have a choice, parents that don't have a choice, that are working every day in a bad system, to be able to find a good, productive system that fits their child, no matter what it is.
Well, Simone, I just don't want the media's running lies about that cause. He's going to run the public school systems, and all that stuff needs to be just thrown away. That's none of that's true. We don't even know what's going to happen yet till we start them,
Right. And in the ESA bill, it's a 3-year phase-in, so it will allow Bessie and the Department of Education to look at it every year and see what's working, maybe what's not working. If we need to tweak something, we will be able to do that at those times. But you know what? Even our local system superintendent, I heard him in a speech one day, and he said, you know what? We're going to have to compete. And that's right. If you're in a good working system, I don't see why parents would even want to move their children. I think you will have that flow from some public into private, and maybe some private into public. But I think no matter what your income is level in this state, people want a good education system, because think about it this way. Your education system affects our economy. Today, and gone beyond today. So you're putting good, productive citizens out into the workforce if they choose the workforce or into college.
By the way, Simone, and I apologize, Simone Champagne, you're a Bessie board member now, right?
Yes,
okay.
I am an at-large member.
Yeah, I thought you were, and I kind of skipped my mind. I apologize for that. But you did the same sacrifice we did. It was worth it to us. And like you said, we did a vacation a year, maybe, sometime none. But the point being is we need opportunities, and I think this is the best opportunity we can give them right now.
Yes. And now's the time for, I believe, our legislators to stand up and do the right thing for all the people they represent in this state. I know I urge them to do that whenever I speak to them. They know I'm a proponent of ESAs and education reform.
Yep.
And that's not to say that we have bad schools or bad staff or teachers or superintendents. I don't believe that at all. I believe they're good.
No.
I believe this will help. I think this will help our state move forward.
Simone, I got to go on, but I'm going to call you back, and we'll get you back on. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Let me take a break. When we get back, Bernie Pincinat, who's been on here many, many times, a little bit about where the ESAs are right now with the legislation moving through. He's been spending some time at the Capitol. We'll take a break, come back and visit with Bernie in a few minutes. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Bring it here. If you love seafood like I do, you need Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning, and Ragin' Cajun's delicious seafood dinners like etouffee, Creole sauce, shrimp and grits, seafood bisque, gumbo and roux. All Ragin' Cajun products are made right here in Acadiana. Folks, trust me, they are good. Ask for the Ragin' Cajun and all your favorite grocery stores today. Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning. Ask them for the Ragin' Cajun.
As Louisiana's only fiberglass manufacturer and fabricator, C-Safe Fiberglass Grading and Structural Systems has provided corrosion-resistant products to the Gulf Coast for over 45 years. Our fiberglass grading, cable trays, and structural shapes are ideal to replace corroded, rotting building products and can be custom fabricated by the best fiberglass craftsmen in the world, right here in Lafayette. Contact C-Safe or visit our website at csafe.com. That's SEA like the ocean, SAFE.com.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah.
For electrical. 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. What a day. What a day. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is another. That was Simone Champagne. She is a Bessie board member appointed by Jeff Landry. And I kind of slipped on my mind until I kept talking to her. I said, oh, man, I got to tell you who that is. All right, now let's jump gears. Bernie Pincinat. He's been a pollster. He's been in politics, watching this stuff for a long time. Bernie, always a pleasure. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, Moon. Today is ESA at the Education Savings Account, as you're appropriately talking about, by the House of Representatives today. So it's an interesting day.
Well, tell me what you think, Bernie. I mean, you in there, you're in and out, you helping watch all this stuff. And how do you feel this is coming? I mean, is this a done deal, or it doesn't work that way?
No, I think at this point in time, the Republicans haven't. I know the freshmen, which I was somewhat involved with some of them or most of them. I think they're pretty solid. Some of them are receiving a lot of resistance. Some of them are receiving little to none. I think that it is in their best interest as a group to vote to run up a big number. I mean, people don't remember this, but originally TOPS wasn't that popular when we originally passed it. Every university was against us, trade schools, technical schools, even some of the, we were taking the money away from them and giving it to kids, and they didn't have control over it. But over time, TOPS has become very popular, and hopefully ESAs will do the same. One of the things that the legislature needs to do to establish it is run up a big number by passing it, and then the critics and everybody else goes away. And by the way, one of the things that the school board admits to tell you is, in any poll you do, public education is respected, even if a parent has their kids in a private school, they're still supportive of public schools because they understand the need for public schools. Not everybody has their money, and they don't want kids to not have an education. They know that it costs them in the long run. Everybody's supportive of public education, and Simone, who, by the way, is one of the better people in the state on education, spent a lot of time working with it as a state rep, and now thank you, Jeff Landry, for putting her there. She's one of the best, and like she said, this is a 3-year time period before it becomes fully functional. During that time, you got Cade Brumley and people like Simone, who certainly will look at the numbers, look at what the performances are. They'll have the stats, and if there's any problems with it or it's disruptive in any way, they can correct it. So it's not like the end of the world, and this is a done deal and it's written in stone. People realize that this is a new program. It's going to take time to figure out how it works the best, and is there any damage to public education? Everybody will look at it. As Simone said, as a pollster, I got news for them. The majority of the state is Republican now, as far as their policies with the Republican governor. This is one of his priorities, which is one of the priorities of his voters, and the legislature is carrying out his will and also the public's will. It doesn't mean that anyone wants to scrap public education. It means they want to offer parents who feel that the kids aren't getting a good education. It's called choice. It's called competition. Good schools have nothing to fear, period. Nope. If you have a good school system, and there's some really good ones in Louisiana, those schools have zero to worry about. If you're in an underperforming school and you're a parent and you want a better choice for your kid, then that school is vulnerable to parents saying, give me the money and let me go someplace else. And it's called competition. So what?
Yeah, Bernie, what's sad, one of the things I want people to watch is that the media, devil's advocate, John George's rag, and some of the school systems will get together and they just start putting out information that's not true. $520 million a year came out of Parr's mouth. Well, the media runs that as fact. There's no fact to that at all. There's nobody's even talking about that kind of number. Too many people are going to leave the school system. Well, in Arizona, it's 3%. We may get a little bit more. We're not going to get much more than that. I just don't like the selling of negative news from people who want to keep everything exactly the same. And that was my frustration.
Look, you don't need anybody, look, I get talked to by a lot of people on a daily basis. I'm fairly well known, and people, since I'm a pollster, they'll give me my opinion whether I want it or not.
Absolutely.
But, the newspapers have decided that Landry's evil. He's a dictator. Huey Long. I mean, I don't know how many adjectives you can find right now that they haven't used, and they go find the same people to criticize him. But he remains popular. He has an agenda. He's going to carry it out. He made a commitment to to the people that elected him on a lot of these topics. And by the way, you know, he never was really challenged by any of the other candidates. He was on message, and they never could get their campaigns up and running, so he won. But he's still on message. His priorities are still basically the same that he ran on, and school choice and ESAs was one of them.
Yep.
So, you know, the newspapers, you know, at some point, that's their role. They don't like him. They don't agree with anything he's doing.
Nope.
And if somebody comes to them, like a school system, and says we're going to lose $500 million tomorrow, they I don't know if they do any research on it. But that's their role. But the good news is, if you're looking at most of the people in Louisiana and Landry supporters, they really are not paying attention to a lot of the noise that the media is making, because Jeff's their guy, period.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, I just know what they're doing. They're trying to muddy the water on something that doesn't need to be muddied. And I think this is something that helps everybody, and it doesn't hurt anybody. And, you know, school systems have less students. They got more money, less students, and more employees. Come on. You got, you got to come up with another plan. If this ain't it, then what? So I think this is a great idea.
Well, look, there's no poll that says the majority of people in Louisiana want public education destroyed, hurt, or anything else. We don't have. Does anyone really think 1,000 private schools would be built because of this? No. The private schools that are there are already there. We have parochial schools. This is just an option that we're giving parents in case in those schools that they feel like their children are not being educated properly and they want a better choice. It's called choice. It's called competition. Like I said, I can name you 5 or 6 or 7 schools. I'm not going to do it because of the picking on any. But there are lots of good schools in this state, and the parents, by the way, are very happy, and they're not interested in ESAs. No. They're very content with their schools, and you got that in. I know you got that in St. Charles. You got that in the Felicianas. You got a lot of areas where the public is very pleased with the schools, and ESAs won't amount to a hill of beans as far as those parents are concerned.
Bernie,
it's not even on their radar.
Bernie, I gotta go, but I think you make a great point.
Okay.
I hope it flies through like you said. Anyway, thank you, Bernie Pincinat, as always. All right, folks, we'll be right back.
For the absolute best in local Cajun food, check out Prejean's in their 2 locations in Carencro and Broussard.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station broadcasting from the Matthew James Financial Studio.
Millions of Americans have a shared goal to experience something rare today. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. A total eclipse of the sun coming to more than a dozen states.
Looked like the weather here in Burlington was going to be great, so I booked a flight, packed all my gear. You don't get the chance to shoot an eclipse every day, so I'm going to go chase the sun.
As the moon crosses over the sun, the eclipse will begin in Mexico, entering the U.S. in Texas, where a partial eclipse will begin shortly before 1:30 Eastern Time. Fox's Casey Stiegel is in Dallas.
Officials say an estimated 500,000 people have come here from all corners of the globe to experience this historic wonder. Some 35,000 hotel rooms have been booked solid, and with that many folks out and about, we're told it will strain some basic services.
A similar influx in other states along the path of totality, with the next total eclipse in the U.S. only expected in 3 states 20 years from now. President Biden heading to a battleground state to cut more student loan debt.
As many as 23 million student loan borrowers could see debt canceled or reduced under a new plan aimed at making good on a campaign promise blocked by the U.S. Supreme Court. In the college town of Madison, Wisconsin, President Biden will offer relief to borrowers who have seen interest balloon the total cost of loans and forgive federal loans for for undergraduate degrees that have been repaid for at least 20 years.
Fox's Jared Halpern in Washington. The president's been focusing on more targeted relief plans after justices concluded a broader effort to slash debt overstepped executive authority. Former President Trump says abortion should be up to the states, declining to back a national ban in a videotaped statement.
Now it's up to the states to do the right thing. Like Ronald Reagan, I am strongly in favor of exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother.
The Biden campaign says the former president's just worried voters will hold him accountable for the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. Are you still on the fence about owning gold? It's time to pull the trigger with the Oxford Gold Group and buy gold and silver. Nobody can predict the future, but we can't put our head in the sand either. The Oxford Gold Group are the pros. They make owning gold and silver simple and easy to understand. Call Oxford Gold Group right now and you may qualify for up to $10,000 in free precious metals. Call 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD.
A man suspected of trying to set a U.S. senator's office on fire with staffers inside is now in custody.
The Justice Department says the man accused of trying to light Senator Bernie Sanders' Vermont office on fire was arrested Sunday. Federal prosecutors say Shant, a.k.a. Michael Sagamonian, was seen on camera spraying some sort of liquid around the outer door of the third-floor office in what the DOJ describes as a building used for interstate commerce. He's then seen on video using a handheld lighter. The door catches fire with staffers inside, but the building's sprinkler system deployed and no one was hurt. The Times-Argus reports that the ATF arrested Sagamonian at a motel after a car associated with him was located. If convicted, he faces a maximum of 20 years in prison. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The White House just confirming that CIA Director William Burns was in Cairo over the weekend for what they're calling a serious round of negotiations on a hostage deal with Hamas in Gaza. They say Hamas is reviewing a new proposal now. An actor learns his fate in an assault case.
Actor Jonathan Majors avoids jail time for assaulting his then-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. The star of Creed 3 and other films getting probation, ordered to complete a year-long in-person domestic violence intervention program after being convicted of misdemeanors, reckless assault in the third degree, and harassment in December. He's also been ordered to continue therapy and counseling and receive time served for second-degree harassment. An order of protection was granted for Jabari, whose finger was fractured, according to prosecutors, during the struggle, which started when she tried to take Major's phone away from him after she noticed a suggestive text on it. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
Right now, stocks are mixed and they're not moving much. The Dow's down about 12 points, the S&P down just 1 point, the Nasdaq's up 4. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.